Welcome to Go Games Podcast, but we haven't got decided yet, but we're going to keep doing it anyway. I'm Colby.
And I'm Amy. Amy, good gorilla. But you can call me Fee. You know where that's from?
Yeah, that just what really took me back. I was like, it's so funny because that reference like came up in my brain as I was like, when did they say that in the Tarzan movie? When did that happen? And it didn't.
No, because it's Congo.
Yeah, I know. I figured out that it was Congo, but my brain to start off with was like, no, Rosie O'Donnell didn't say that. I don't think her character's name was Amy either.
Was Rosie O'Donnell in a Tarzan movie, or what?
Yeah, Rosie O'Donnell played like the small.
Oh my god! I thought you meant the live action Brendan Fraser. Fucking no, that's George of the Jungle.
Listen, all these movies are the same. It's fine.
Yeah, it was. I'd wager Congo is not the same as those movies.
It's about the same.
You got Tim Curry chewing every scene he's in, and just classic lines like Amy the gorilla, which was not ever a real gorilla. It was a guy in a suit.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you got classic lines like "Stop eating my sesame cake."
Man, it's been a really long time. I think I saw Congo when it first came out, and then that was it.
No, we remember like we'd watch it sometimes. Me, you, and Mike.
We would watch Congo?
Yeah, sometimes we'd watch Congo, or maybe that was just when I hung out with Mike.
It's probably just because you hung out with Mike. Because Mike liked to have this thing where like it was a really weird setup where we would go over to his apartment and like at night to go to bed, he had a TV that had a VCR and he just like bought old movies for his VCR. And all of this would sound normal if this was like, you know, like, I don't know, 1999. But this was like 2008. So it was weird.
Yeah, no,
why don't you just have a DVD player?
Cause fuck you that way. We'd watch Congo and Jurassic Park, and like a lot of other old like Twins, and just a lot of classic movies that we just referenced all the time. Because that's what we did. We referenced a lot of '90s movies.
Mm-hmm. But we didn't only reference Ace Ventura, so that's why we were better than Travis.
Oh my god, I forgot we talked about Travis last time.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty then. On to the next topic. God damn.
Got him!
Yeah, Travis, if you're listening to this, eat your own ass.
High fives, everybody high five me.
Good, bring it on. So, a lot of cool stuff has been happening that we're going to talk about, and we're not going to talk about the Colby's embarrassing history, because my history is not embarrassing. It's all immaculate, and you can read about it in my memoirs at feesgraciouschildhood.com.
Wow. I've got to now purchase that site and, like, forward it on to a really, really hardcore furry porn site now.
You know I'd still visit it.
Listen, that's kind of the point, is everybody would be like, oh, man, what a bad prank. And you'd be like, yeah, bad prank.
A prank. Huh. Just don't look at my phone. Just
prank.
Got me. Stupid. So, we promised that we were going to talk about Moon Knight this week, and we are. But we're also going to talk about other stuff, but that comes later.
Yeah, Moon Knight starts now.
Wait, before we get into Moonlight, let's talk about Avatar, because the trailer dropped today, and it didn't reveal a lot, so I just want to talk about Avatar for a minute.
Yeah, actually, so fun fact, I saw that the do you know that like now YouTube has a feature where if you like hover your mouse over like the box where like the window is, it will start playing the YouTube video on mute with subtitles on?
Yeah, it does that on the home screen, but when you go into your subscriptions, it doesn't do that.
Yeah, so that's how I watched the trailer, is I was like, I don't want to click on this. That'll give them another view, and I don't want that. I don't give a shit about Avatar, and I don't want them to have my one view. So I instead just hovered my mouse and was like, yes, graphics.
Highest grossing movie like of all time. I don't want them to get my view.
I never saw the original, and I am not going to. They have the best ride in Animal Kingdom at Disney World, but like, I don't want to watch that movie.
I saw it twice, I think. I've seen it once, like, just fully by myself. And then when I was working at Walmart, like, 10 years ago, they had it in the break room and kept it on the DVD player for an entire month until someone changed it.
Damn.
Yeah, no, because, like, when you go to the break room, no one's, like, really caring. They're just eating or, like, just getting out of the depressing fucking store. But
the depressing store just oh god, I've got to go back out there, and I work at Walmart. Stop reminding me, Walmart.
You can't make me. I will not. You gotta go out there.
I'm gonna stay with my friends in Avatar.
They'll never leave me. They'll never die. Just could you imagine just having like a fucking death vision, like you're on your deathbed, and then like it takes you into Avatar world.
You go, no, shit, no,
oh,
no,
God.
no.
This is hell.
Send me back.
Jake Sully, come and join my tribe. We're going to save the world.
Here's my favorite thing. You're doing that accent. I don't know if it's bad or not. That may be how they talk.
That's how the girl talks. That's how she doesn't call her, because the guy's name is Jake Sully. But she's like, Jake Sully. And she sounds like Miss Cleo.
Hell yeah. Call me now, Jake Sully.
Jake Sully, please save the animal people. Come on.
Jake Sully is like, I guess.
So, the thing is, the movie's the plot's so stupid. So, you got big bad Earth Army on this world, on Avatar Land. And they're trying to harvest the world of the new mineral.
Unobtainium,
Yeah, unobtainium. Oh, it's so stupid. Stupid name. God, James Cameron, you are a good director.
Damn you and your naming.
And then you had Army Brother of Jake Sully, who is his identical twin, who is in the Na'vi program, but then dies due to unforeseen circumstances. And Jake Sully, being his identical twin and having the same genetic code, can still pilot the Avatar. But also, he is paralyzed from the waist down. So he becomes a Na'vi and is just like instantly just like, oh fuck yeah, this is awesome, my legs work and like everything's cool. And then they learn about the tribe, they learn their language, so that way they can get in good with the tribe, so that way they could steal everything under their noses, like by befriending them. But like he falls in love with the girl Na'vi from the tribe.
There's only one.
And, yeah, there's only one. All the rest are dudes, and they're sword fight with their tails, with their ponytails.
Whoa, what the fuck?
I'm just kidding. That didn't happen. That part.
I was like, I don't remember that in like the ride. The only thing I know about like doesn't the ponytail like stick into the dinosaur, the big flying dinosaur?
The ponytail's what they use for everything. So they use it to mind link with the dinosaurs, the pterodactyls. They mind link with the mother tree, which like is part of the planet, and they also use it for sex. So
hell yeah.
Make it as weird as you want, but like they're putting their hair wieners in the animals, the tree, everything.
Each other.
Who knows? So it's basically like humans bad, aliens like good, and there's big fight scenes and they're all good. The graphics are good. Everything's good. And, you know, the Na'vi win, but at what cost? And then you learn that there's other tribes by like the water and the air tribe and all this stuff, and The second movie is gonna take place like with the Water Tribe, I guess, because it's all about water. That was the trailer. Them going to the ocean.
Yeah, the Way of Water. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah, and Jake Sully dies as like a human, but then they connect him to the Avatar, and then he just, I guess, force shifts his body into the Na'vi.
He would force shift?
Well, I don't know how to explain. Like he leaves his human conscious behind and becomes a Na'vi. Like, but
yeah, so
for real
he put
this
his
time.
consciousness on a thumb drive, and then they put it into like the ponytail wiener, and then now he is a Na'vi forever. Of course.
So, and I wouldn't want to, like, because of like technology has got me spoiled. I couldn't be like, oh man, fuck this dumb Earth. I'm gonna be an alien with nothing to do but ride pterodactyls. Like,
listen, like if they gave me a chance to like, if the Disney ride was real and it was like you get to go into like an avatar that's already on the back of an Ikron, and then you fly around, that'd be fucking sick.
For $50 more, you can get into an avatar, like your consciousness.
Maybe, but the thing is, I'm right there with you. Where like, you're only thinking about the cool parts about being an avatar, like flying on the back of a dragon. But you're not thinking about the not cool parts about being an avatar, like shitting outside and
being like a tall, blue, slender cat person.
That's all fine, but like they don't have iPads, so like, what the fuck are you supposed to do?
That technically, they could get, like, if Earth was like, we'll trade unupdating for all these iPads.
That's the thing, is that like, imagine being the one, like they're already having a tough time accepting you. They're like, listen, we know that you were born human and now you're like one of us and stuff. Can you like chop some firewood or something? And you're like, all I know how to do is program, so no.
Yeah, because he was like an engineer, so he's like, oh man, can I not be an alien?
Oh, beans. Can I? They're asking me to do a lot of stuff. Like, they want me to go out and stab animals and stuff, and that sounds mean. I can't do it.
Listen, I know I'm a Na'vi now, but America has gave me this new lease on life, and I'm just gonna go back to Earth. But I mean, why not?
I'm just gonna be a big, tall, blue cat person, but on Earth.
Could you imagine, like, that's what the sequel's about? Him going to Earth and like trying to like assimilate back into society.
It's like, I can't find any dang shoes.
Nothing's big enough. Oh, everyone keeps looking at me weird. What are you, bluecist? I don't know what.
They keep demanding that I put a loincloth on my ponytail.
I keep telling them it needs to breathe. Just God damn it. So yeah, that movie's coming out. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's gonna come out. My mom's a big fan, so shout out to my mom. She loves Avatar.
Shout out to your mom. Big James Cameron fan. Loved Terminator. Loved Titanic.
So you just named off like good movies?
Yeah, I know, but man, Avatar.
It's not bad. Wink, wink. It's just
it's like to me it seems like a Michael Bay kind of thing, you know, where you're like, oh yeah, there's gonna be some cool big robot fights, but there's also gonna have lines that are like, oh, King Arthur was a transformer, and there was a big dragon, and the Knights of the Round were all transformers, and the planet is a transformer, and like,
and Merlin, the Knights of the Round Table, that was a transformer, and,
all transformers,
and Merlin, he brought them together. Mm-hmm. So that is
that's what you go whenever you go see like a Transformers movie. You're like, this shit ain't gonna make sense, and it's fine.
You're just in it for the fights, and that's what I literally watch Avatar for, is the fights, because they're good, and the graphics are beyond good. But that's about it. I don't care about the story. They want me to feel bad. Well, I don't feel bad. I'm gonna go turn.
No, I hate the planet.
I'm gonna go turn my car on and leave it running all day and all night. Yeah.
Damn.
That's what I think.
Just a hideous polluter.
That's what I do. I don't even. That's the only way I know how to pollute. I don't know how else. I guess I'm gonna litter. I'm gonna go and throw my trash. I'm gonna go throw my trash in the street.
I'm gonna go get a Big Mac and I'm gonna throw it on the side of the road.
I'm gonna go to our local watering hole, the river, and just take a big dump in it and pollute gasoline.
Yeah, that one dump's gonna ruin the whole river.
Well, if it's a dump after I've drank like milk, then yeah. But other than that, no. So Avatar's coming out. If you're stoked for it, fucking be stoked. But I don't know if I'll watch it in theaters. I don't know. My mom will probably drag me to the theaters, but I don't know.
The thing is, like, I feel like after the hype of the last one, the main reason why people went to go see it is they were like, whoa, the graphics are crazy. And that's why everybody on the planet went to go see it, is someone was like, the graphics are insane. People are committing suicide because they were like, the graphics are too good and the life sucks. Like, life is not as good as Avatar, so I'm gonna die now. Like, and that makes people want to go see it.
This world has to be real. And in my next life, I'll leave this mortal coil and I'll go to Avatar world. I'll leave the Matrix.
God. Have we talked about the fucking Final Fantasy VIII dream yet?
No, we haven't.
Okay, so viewers at home, this is like an old copy pasta from like early internet days. Like this was 2006, 2007.
There's a website.
Yeah, where there was some guy who basically his story is that like he would go to sleep and every night he would have a dream of like waking up in Balam Garden from Final Fantasy VIII, and he's a seed and he's friends with all the characters from Final Fantasy VIII, and they're hanging out, having a good time, and then he would wake up every day and he had like a really depressing, shitty life. And so eventually one day in his dreams, Selfie, by the way, that was her name. Selfie is like, you could just stay here forever if you just die in the other like fake world that you go to every night. And he's like, oh, so Final Fantasy VIII is real, and it's my real life that's not real. And if I die in the not real world, I'll go and stay in Final Fantasy VIII forever. And that was the premise. He was like, hey, should I do it? What do you think? And like that became a really big thing on the internet. Like, oh God, how fucked up is that? Like, how do you process something like that?
Yeah. Like, how do you even answer that? Like, what do you even like? You're like, dude, you should really get some help, because that's not like healthy.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, it's not often. God. Okay. So like, we have a baby. I don't know if you know that. And he goes to daycare and they just give you every disease. So I currently have like one of the 1,000 rhino viruses, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's got whooping cough.
So if I cough, it's fine.
Blame it on the baby.
But yeah, like usually when it was somebody on the internet is like, yeah, you should go get therapy, they're like being a dick. But this is like, no, you should go get therapy, dude.
Yeah, this is a. Yeah, if they're like something's wrong in your brain, when your dreams are saying just kill yourself, dude. Just
dog.
Just end your life. Well, what do you got going for you? Come live with us in Final Fantasy VIII land.
Yeah, he's like, hell yeah, cactars, I'm all about it. That's real. Moombas, love them.
I'll say Moombas, cactars, tomberries. Fuck yeah. The triple triad? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm going to be a triple triad god. I'm going to drop out of seed school and become triple triad genius.
God. Final Fantasy VIII is like the worst world you want to live in. Not because of what goes on there, but just because it's boring.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff about that game where I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like Esther, the entire concept of like what's effectively a continent-sized city that's just like put up some invisible walls around the outside to pretend like they don't exist, but it works? What?
Yeah, it's just Wakanda.
Yeah, but nobody has a plane, I guess?
No, why? Because fuck you, that's why.
Yeah, listen, there's no planes in Final Fantasy.
Look,
there's always only one.
There's one airship, and it never belongs to you. It belongs to the heroes. And that guy wasn't gonna die and go and become the hero. Squall was the hero. He wouldn't even been in the party.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing, is that like he was friends with all of the main characters in Final Fantasy VIII, but he wasn't one of the characters. Like they knew him. He was like about as notable as the hot dog guy, like the guy that's like, oh, I love hot dogs, and he just hangs out in the cafeteria all day. That's him. He's hot dog guy.
Fucking Cypher and like Fujin and Raijin are more important than you. Like,
yeah,
because they're gonna they're gonna go on their big adventure, and what are you gonna do? Be like, I wish my friends were here. Just
yeah. Whenever you get lines of dialogue in the actual game, it's just gonna say student, and you're gonna get lines like ah.
Yeah, it's gonna say Balam Garden student, and that's it.
Seed recruit. Oof. That's your line. Your big break.
You gotta dream that you're like in a game where you create a character and you're the character. Like, or even just be like, oh, they say I'm Cloud in my dreams, so if I die, I'll become Cloud.
Yeah, see, that's sick.
But, well, I mean,
instead you're just Jeff, but over there. That sucks.
You're not in the party. You don't have a pivotal part in the story. Just, but like that's what TikToks do now. They're just like, oh man, you can fucking plane shift into any reality you want.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, you want to be...
I forgot that's a thing.
You want to go to Hogwarts? Fuck, you're there. All you gotta do is just think about it really hard and go to sleep, and you'll wake up there.
Then you're there, and it's real.
The boy who lived come to dream. Just...
That's... The thing is, like... That phenomenon is so interesting because it's like... I don't know if you've like ever did this, but like when I was a kid, I was probably 5, 6. I went to go like at a sleepover at a friend's house, and he had a bunch of like kids there that I didn't know. There were like a couple, maybe 2 or 3 other people that like I didn't know. And it was his birthday, so like we're all hanging out. And then that night we're like going to sleep in our sleeping bags in the living room, and like one of the kids pretends to have like a dream, and he's like, oh, I'm having a dream where I'm driving a cool car. And then we were all faking like we had cool dreams that like we were acting out in real life and stuff. And like that's what it reminds me of, is this collective, listen, we're all gonna bullshit each other, and we all know we're all lying, but we're gonna keep doing it anyway.
Oh my God.
Because it's fun, I guess. Like that's one of those things where I'm like, God, it's
cringe.
It's cringe, hyper cringe.
Oh no, I never had that, thankfully, but I did one time go to a childhood friend of mine, and I don't know if y'all ever did this when y'all were younger, but there was this like trend back in the day where like you would like put your hands like under your neck and like I guess like suffocate yourself, but like you would like fade into like unconsciousness, and then they would let go, and then you'd have like a fever dream and then wake up. So I don't know if that was a thing like y'all would do, but I remember going to their house and they were all doing it to each other, and then they tried it on me, and I was just like, I didn't feel anything. And I was just like, am I doing it wrong? They're like, you're not doing it right. And as they're like choking each other out.
They're choking each other out and coming back and being like, yeah, I had a dream in which I was Bob the Builder. It was sick.
No, all the dreams would be about Dragon Ball Z, because Dragon Ball Z,
oh my God, of course,
was like peak. And then we had a Dragon Ball Z club where we were all named characters, and I was really mad because all like the big characters were taken by the older kids, and I had to be Chaozu.
Oh no, you were Chaozu. No one wants to be Chaozu.
Oh, I know. I didn't want to be him, but I also wanted to play Dragon Ball Z with them, so yeah. I had to.
Just every day you go to play, like every day you just have to jump on someone's back and be like, I'm making the ultimate sacrifice.
Don't
I'm done playing.
I'm gonna go sit over there and have some juice. Just oh no. But that's weird things from my childhood. Like, kids do stupid stuff and people are stupid. Like just if there's also not just phasing into other worlds, but like if you write these sequence of numbers down, you actively cheat, like hack life, and like here's the infinite money life glitch.
Oh my God.
And like, dude, there was a lot of them. There's like letters and stuff on TikTok, and I'm just like, if you know the glitch, why aren't you using it?
Yeah. Well, no. You have to phase shift first, and then you get infinite money in the Harry Potter world. That's what it is.
Yeah, you get a lot of gold, right? Is that what they use in Harry Potter?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when you phase shift, then you'll have all the gold. Then you can buy Hedgewig and the master wand or elder wand.
The master, yeah. I like number one. That's not even the bird's name, and so the master wand, like it now. Just this is the knockoff Harry Potter. Like, this is the phase shift Harry Potter universe where you're like, oh yeah, you're. This is Harriet Porber, and she's got this lightning bolt scar on her thigh. I don't know.
No, she has like thundercloud scar on her forehead.
Hell yeah.
Like, wait, was Hedgewig not the owl?
It's Hedwig.
Well, just fuck you. I was close.
You were close. I'm not saying you weren't.
It does sound like a knockoff. Hedgewig and the Master Wand. Fucking.
Yeah, you went to the Dollar General and got Harry Potter toys. And that's what you got. Hedgewig and the Master Wand.
God damn it! All right, enough toe tapping. Let's get into Moon Man.
Moon Man, yeah, man. Moon Knight was fucking good.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked. Man, we're gonna right now. Okay, spoilers. Big fat spoilers.
Up front, there's no way to talk about this without spoiling, so we're doing it.
So, man, countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, spoilers ahead. Let's go. So, okay. I was thrown when Mark was the real host body.
See, that surprises me because I knew that had to have been the case, like, the whole time. So I'm curious to, like, why did you think that Steven was the real body?
So, for whatever reason, up until the reveal had happened, I thought that Khonshu had planted a soul into Steven to do his bidding in Steven's body.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I was just like, okay, yeah, put it into Steven. He has nothing to lose. If he's doing all these bad things, it doesn't matter because he's like a throwaway. I don't know much about Moon Knight. I don't know like anything. So that's what I thought up until that point. Mm-hmm. And until like he was like, oh no, Mark created Steven to get away from his deeply like tortured childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like it was like I was like, oh, but it was like really,
Jesus.
I was on the edge of my seat. But it was a good twist. It was a good twist.
Yeah, the way that I figured that it had to be that is because Steven had no idea who Khonshu was, and I never considered that Khonshu, like, put another person inside of Steven. I just figured that, like, we started off the story with Steven for a reason, and then, like, it was going to turn out that, like, you know, that Steven was part of Mark. And I figured Mark had to be the body because... Steven had no idea who Khonshu was, and then after being notified of who Khonshu was, could like do the Khonshu suit, you know?
Yeah.
So I figured like whoever had the first knowledge of Khonshu had to have been the one that was in control of the body.
That makes sense. Like when you say it out loud, that does make sense. But for whatever reason, I didn't even think about that when it turned out that Mark was married.
Yeah, good. Yeah, another good one. Another good call.
Mark was married for I don't know how long, but Steven would just blank that out for whatever reason.
There's a bunch of stuff in here where you're like, oh man, like how long? There must have been like big gaps in Steven's consciousness that he just didn't process or care about. And like, I don't know what was up with like Layla. They were married, and
like when
how
they were in
Steven...
like when they were in the Duat, like he said that Steven started crossing in his reality when he went to his mom's funeral.
Yeah.
And then Steven started becoming more present. Like he just came out. Like I guess he was like a safety net, like for some, like sometimes, but then all of a sudden he just came to the forefront and he became his own person. And then it was like really sad that whenever he'd call his mom, it was nobody. He didn't know she was dead.
Yeah.
And he just pretended to talk to her and had these internal conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. Which it honestly, like, there's stuff that alludes to that, like the fact that he talks to like the living statue that doesn't talk back to him, but he still has a conversation with himself with that guy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of like really clever stuff in here that's like, I really appreciate it. I liked it a lot. The tackling of because they straight up are just like, no, there's no magic or anything. Just Mark Spector is a deeply troubled human who has like this like DID. I think it's dissociative identity disorder. So yeah, he's got that, and they're like very candid about like, no. Khonshu has nothing to do with this. It's literally just Mark.
Yeah, no, it's Mark and his personalities that are just fighting to like for front supremacy, but are like fighting to with their self because I don't know Mark knows what's going on, and he keeps Steven in the dark about it. Yeah. But that's what's different from the comics, because I looked a little bit of it in the comics. So Mark Mark Spector is Moon Knight in the comics, not in the old ones, not the new ones, because in the new ones he does have DID, but in the old ones, Steve Grant was just a playboy persona that he would pretend to be, so that way he can get into like fancy events, and he was like a rich guy, and then the cab driver Jake
Lockley,
Jake Lockley was like his other persona that he would just pretend to be. So that way, like, he could be a driver and, like, get, do stuff with.
Get info and contacts and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, like, it divulged into him having DID in the comics. And I guess now he does in the show. But that's all I know. Like, I really don't know anything about Moon Knight.
Yeah, the only Moon Knight things that I knew about coming into this were, like, the memes where... where he's asking Dracula for his money. And
I was just about to say
throwing
that.
random bullshit.
Yeah, just fucking Dracula, where are you? I want my fucking money, or whatever it says. That's all I know, because in the old comics, he would fight Werewolf by Night. That was like his bad guy. So
yeah,
that's all I know.
The line is, "I know you're here, Dracula, you big fucking nerd. Where's my goddamn money?"
Yeah, so that's old Moon Knight, but like as he came into Marvel, because he wasn't originally in Marvel, like I guess they gave him like a personality, or that personality, like they switched it. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
The thing is, that panel's like not real. It's just it's a meme.
No, I know it's a meme, but he did fight Dracula.
Yeah, he did. He's super fought Dracula, but like everybody's taken that to the extreme where they're just like, this is who Moon Knight is. Which, to be fair, like I was that too, because I was like, I've seen, because there's this second panel that says, honestly, at this point, I don't even remember why Dracula owes me money, but a guy's got to live by a code, And I was like, yeah, okay, so Moon Knight and Dracula are a thing. I don't know why, but cool.
Well. And like, so they're like, he's kind of like almost Deadpool, where like he's always arguing with himself, like internally. He's like unhinged in the comics. That's, like I said, I don't know much. I just know a little bit. But like, back to the show. I think there's like 3 episodes of like them arguing to figure out what Steven's like figuring stuff out. Mark's like, we just gotta do this mission, or it's the world is gonna end. And it all has everything to do with ancient Egyptian gods. and not bringing what's alligator woman back to life.
Yeah, Amit. Yeah,
Amit. Yeah,
alligator woman. Yeah, big gator. Hey.
Yeah, big croc mom.
Calling the swamp people.
Sit on my face.
Weird. Okay.
Okay. So you can't tell me they didn't make her like a little hot. Don't you dare
the
sit
alligator?
there. Yeah.
No.
Don't sit there and lie to me. Don't sit there and lie to me, Colb.
I will turn around and I will ask my wife right now on this podcast. I swear to you, don't even fucking ask me to.
Look, she was cute. She was a little bit cute and evil.
God, you are fucking so gross.
Why?
She was nothing. She was like the personification of
cuteness.
I'm a bad guy. That's her whole shit was just like, I'm evil. Like,
I'm a real bad guy.
At the very least, the Ethan Hawke character was like, yeah, I want to bring justice to the world before they have a chance to do evil. And it's like, okay, that's like a cool thing. And then this big fucking alligator shows up and she's like, I'm free and I'm evil. Like, that was her whole thing.
I'm looking at her.
Cute, you fucking weirdo.
I'm not saying I wouldn't date her, but I'm just saying.
You're so fucking weird.
Stupid.
I mean, if anyone, you got to pick like the hippo, right? Because the hippo's like cool and nice.
So the hippo Tarret. She's who I go after. I'm with Amit in my crazy days, and I settle down with Tarret, and she's cute. And she'll make me breakfast, and she'll ask me how my day was going.
Damn, Faye, you've got a whole plan of like of how you're gonna move through life with these Egyptian furry gods at your side. Wow, Faye. Look, man, if only Marvel was real. Do you have dreams of Marvel every night in which you're married to a different big furry one? Or
yeah, when I go to sleep, I see Ahmet, and she's like, "Ooh, bring me the souls, and then when you die, and you can join me by my side." That's what she tells me. I'm looking at a picture of her, and like, she's not bad looking.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Let me look this up. Right, I've got a
Amit, Ammit.
Amit, yeah.
Ammit.
Okay, there's not. Okay, I'll say there are a number of things that I'm about to fucking lay down right now. There is nothing with scales that has ever been hot. The end, period. Okay? Anything with scaly skin can actually go fuck itself to the bottom of the ocean.
I beg to differ.
Disagree.
Hard
There's plenty of fish I'd fuck.
I mean, like, lizards and alligators and dinosaurs. Like, the list goes on. Is there any Mass Effect girls with scales? I'm trying to think.
I mean, I'll say this. Mass Effect started off on a console in which, like, I don't know how feasible it would have been to give people scales, so...
That doesn't mean they didn't have any, but, it's true. Anyway, so... where were we? Amit has her avatar. All the Egyptian gods have avatars, and fucking Mark Spector takes fucking Ethan Hawke and is like, "Yo, he's gonna fucking destroy the world," and all the avatars are like, "Nah, he ain't. Fuck you." Mm-hmm. And they're like, "If you fuck with him again, we're gonna take away your powers." And we're gonna trap Khonshu away, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, you big dumb idiot.
Yeah, does he look like the man who would do evil things?
He talks so soft and nice. He looks like a cult leader, but like a nice one.
Yeah, a big nice cult leader. he's just a nice guy. So, like, what is Ethan Hawke's character's name in the show?
Arthur Harrow, I believe.
Yeah, Harrow. Harrow is just, like, the definition of a cult leader. Like, he's soft-spoken, and he gets people to follow him, and he's promising a better land for people whose scales balance, and all if they just kill the bad people who haven't committed any sins for Ammit, and Ammit's gonna rule the land, and he's gonna be by her side, and what's it called, and rule with an iron thumb, and they'll be in paradise. Mm-hmm. But Mark Spector's like, fuck that, and Khonshu's like, yeah, fuck that.
The thing is, like, the moral questions that this brings up are really interesting, right? So, like, there's really easy examples to bring up for, like, why one thing is better than the other. If we want to take this to, like Batman, right?
Yeah.
If Batman killed the Joker, like, the first time, there would be, like, dozens of victims of the Joker that would still be alive, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that 1 point for Ammit. Good call. But
well, no, Ammit wants to kill people before they committed evil deeds. If they have a wavering, they have like a wavering evil in their hearts, and that their scales don't balance, then yeah, fuck that guy. They kill them before their Minority Report.
That's my favorite thing, is that, like, he puts the cane on an old woman's hand, and he's like, I'm so sorry that you can't see the world we build. And she's like, I thought I was good,
but I've been so
good.
And
he's like, Ammit works in mysterious ways. Bye. And then she just withers in front of that. Like, that's one of those things where you're like, man, was old lady racist? She's probably racist. That's probably what it was.
Well, that was a little town in Germany, so yeah, okay.
Yeah. She did some shit during World War II, and, like, has, like, since repented, and is, like, you know, tried to make good and donated to people, but Ammit's like, nah. You think I didn't fucking see that in 1941? I saw you.
You think I don't remember, but I fucking remember. Your soul's mine. And then fucking...
But an alligator never forgets.
Yeah, that's the quote, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's going on. Then they're on the search for the last person who had the Ammit statue, which was Henry VIII, right?
No.
It was...
holy shit.
It was... da-da-da-da-da-da. Kobe, tell me.
I don't know. But I know it wasn't Henry VIII.
It was in the ass. It was in the guy's mouth, in that old pharaoh's mouth.
Oh, you mean Alexander the Great?
Yeah, that's what I meant. They sound similar. Say them. Alexander the Great, Henry VIII.
Uh-huh. Henry VIII, Alexander the Great. Yeah, no, you are right. If I were to, like, be writing a fucking sick ass historical figure rap, I'd totally put those two together.
I mean, you can see my folly.
You know, hey, it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
We all make mistakes sometimes.
We get there through, like, bunches of trials and error. Ammit turns back the sky to the night it was in Egypt, so they can find
Khonshu.
Yeah, Khonshu. What did I say?
You said Ammit.
I meant Khonshu.
I know what you meant.
So Khonshu turns back the sky to back that night of Egypt, so that way they could find the tomb. So and then Khonshu gets his powers taken away, or gets in like, they're like, oh, Khonshu, we fucking told you, and then they seal him away, and Steve and Mark lose their powers. But the thing about that scene is, which is funny, I was seeing people, they're just like, there are apps that can go show you the night sky of, like, from, like, years ago. Like, they didn't have to lose his powers.
Yeah, so not only that, because I have a counter argument for that. It's just, like, how do you know what fucking day it was? And
Well, they had the
especially,
day.
they, well, they didn't have the day. Khonshu knew the day, right? He didn't know, like, the day in the fucking Gregorian calendar, though,
Well,
or,
all he
like,
had to do
the
was be like,
Julianic calendar.
all he had to do was be like, it was 2,000 years ago, and then they just flipped through the app like for like an hour.
Yeah, they just flip. They're like this. No.
Because they're looking for a constellation.
Mm-hmm.
So like, they could have just Google, was this constellation like on this night or something?
That's not how that works, Fee.
This is but God's inheriting the earth and making people their avatars, totally believable.
I mean, well, okay. Now let's. Okay, so why didn't they just Google, hey, where's Alexander the Great's tomb? Like, fuck you. Like, you can't just Google it, get the answer to the show.
And Alexa's like, did you mean Henry VIII?
Yeah, did you mean Henry VIII? I know where he is. Yeah, so, like, the other way that they could have done it without losing his powers is, like, just asked him, like, hey, just... You remember where the night, like, you know all the night skies, right? Where was this constellation on the night that Amit was sealed? And he'd be like, oh, is that direction? Yeah, okay, just go that way then.
Wouldn't he know?
Also,
I mean,
they were like his, like, the degrees, which this is true. If they're off by even a little bit, they could be miles away from this dig site, right?
Yeah.
But that's like, I don't know that that's true on the scale that they were talking about, because they weren't that far from the tomb, right?
They're actually not so far. They're already in the desert. They're pretty close because it didn't take them long.
Yeah, they didn't, like, drive for 5 hours to get to fucking Amit's tomb, as far as I know, right? So, like, if that's the case, then they would have been off by, like, maybe a mile or two. Then maybe you just, like, look at the current position of those stars. You do some rough estimations of where they would have been back in the day. You just guess. Just guess at, like, I don't know, 3,000 years ago, where would this have been? Oh, it's actually 2 degrees further to the left. Great. Now we have a circle of, like, a 5-mile perimeter in which this thing could be. Then you just look for a place with a bunch of fucking cars, and then you're done.
And then the scarab leads them there anyway.
Yeah, but the scarab led Harrow there. They didn't get the scarab until, like, way later.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They lost it.
Yeah.
And another thing, they're living in, like, post, like, superhero Avengers world. Mm-hmm. They're turning back the night, and, like, it's the Egyptian people were like, huh, that's weird. It didn't make any news.
That's fucked up.
Didn't make the news, didn't make anything.
That's the other thing I wanted to bring up. So, number one, it's completely possible that Moon Knight is, like, not connected to any other MCU property, and that would be kind of cool. But the thing that I will say about that is that, what are the implications here? Because there's one of two things. Either Khonshu is, like, manipulating what the sky looks like, and he's turning back, like, you know, the star, like, the way that the night looked and making it look all fucking crazy, right? Or he's turning the entire universe and planet at very fast speeds. Like, are all the stars moving? Khonshu, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, is the planet moving to where it was, like, 3,000 years ago, or is it just like an illusion?
In a hologram?
Is it an illusion? Because, like, and it couldn't have just been over Egypt. It had to have been, like, all over the world. Like,
yeah, totally. I mean, because people in other parts of Egypt saw it. Yeah. So, like, yeah, does that affect, like, oh, it's just like, it's just a 20-mile radius?
Yeah, there was no news about it. Like, Spider-Man didn't hear about it. Thor could have done something about it. And then, like, fast forward to when the gods are fighting, no one just... Mm-hmm. There's these giant kaiju gods fighting, and not a one hero here. The Avengers, fucking Winter Soldier, fucking Wakanda, no one hears about it.
Okay, the thing is,
Maybe.
And I thought about this too. They can't see them, right? Like, because no one ever sees Khonshu except for Mark. Like, Layla doesn't even see Khonshu.
Well, so, no, I think Harrow and, like, his followers could see them after, because she had swallowed the souls, and I guess that kind of made her, like, present, like, omnipresent, because people, like, saw her, because, like, Layla saw her, and then all the other people saw her.
Well, Layla saw her, for sure, after she had already made a pact.
That's true.
The people that were with Harrow saw her after he had already done a bunch of fucking magic tricks around them and probably already put the staff of Amit in their hands to determine that they're okay.
That's what I was thinking. Like, after they become their followers and, like, he put the staff down, and even the people who didn't get their souls sucked, because there are still people that didn't get their souls sucked that were out in the world, like that family, like the family that got, like, in the van, that got kicked and Layla saved him. Which I told Colby this before the podcast, but god damn it, it was so annoying. Not annoying, stupid. It was dumb to me. How, like, she saves the family's still in the van, and the girl there's a girl, like, right there, and she's like, are you an Egyptian superhero? And she's like, yeah. And then, like, fights the bad guys.
Cool. I didn't find that annoying at all. I found that very sweet.
I found that kind of silly. Like, she didn't thank her. She wasn't like, oh, you know, cool. She'd been like, oh, you're a cool superhero, or like, oh, you're so cool. No, are you an Egyptian superhero? That was her first thought. When she could have, she wasn't even scared that her life was in danger. She just stood there and let it happen. Like, I mean, she wasn't shook.
Number one, you can't, like, judge how people react in a situation, because, like, there have been, you know, many people that have been, like, in a near-death situation, and they're just kind of fucking standing there. They're like, I don't know. And then their response to things is pretty stupid.
I don't think...
And I will say, the criticism is, like, makes sense. This was not as bad as the, like, girl power scene in fucking Endgame that was very shoehorned in. This felt like it could have happened, and, like, I was fine with it.
I just thought it was a little... I don't know. I just kind of found it akin to that scene. But
it's definitely not that bad.
It's not that bad, but it is akin to it.
Yeah, it's in the same sort of vein where it's like, this is a social commentary we want to point out, and we can't find a more clever way to do it. But, you know, I was fine with it.
I mean, it didn't take me out of the show, because I love the show, but I was like, I kind of, like, groaned a little audibly. I was like, oh, I'm like, why is that your first question?
Which, by the way, can I just say that, like, so in this part, right, Layla, like, makes this contract with Hippo,
Tari,
and now has some cool like the like Hawk woman. She's like Hawk woman. It's sick, and they're fighting. Her and Moon Knight are fighting Arthur Harrow, and this was, like, one of my favorite parts, and I'm really sad that we missed it. Is that, like, Mark/Steven is about to die. Like, Arthur is about to fucking murder him, and then he passes out and wakes up, and he's, like, almost killed Arthur. Like, he just wakes up, and the fight is over, and he's like, holy shit. And, like, the staff, he's, like, about to fucking plunge it into this man's head. It's sick. And I was like, man, I really hope that, like, in the deleted scenes they show us, like, how that happened, and fucking how this, like, other personality just, like, showed up and fucking saved the day.
Because he had to have transformed into Jake. Or Jack, right?
It's Jake.
Yeah. And he has to have another, like, different suit, I guess. Because all the personalities have a different suit, so... And Layla didn't say anything. Like, even after, she wasn't like, oh, you look different or anything. She was like, what was that?
Yeah, well, I mean, he... to me, that means that he probably didn't have a different suit, right? Like, he was probably in the same one that Mark was in, did his shit, and then Layla was like, "Whoa, what the fuck was that?" And he's like, "I don't know, I blacked out. Anyway, we better fucking go." And I was like, "Man, I wish that I could see just how badly Jake Lockley kicked this old man's ass."
But that would have been cool. But I think it was good the way it ended. You know, fucking
Yeah.
They beat him, and he was like, "You know what, Khonshu? Fuck you. I don't want to be Moon Knight." And then like cut to Harrow in a psych ward, and then Jake Lotley, Khonshu in a suit, and Jake Lotley shooting him in a limo.
Man, yeah, the fucking Khonshu in a suit looks so sick. It's awesome.
And then Layla, if you don't know, is an obscure. It's supposed to be in a very obscure Marvel villain called the Scarlet Scarab, and that's who she was. But like, I don't know if she had her powers at the end of the show. Mark and Steven and Jake still have their powers, I guess, or maybe.
I mean, Jake for sure does, right?
Yeah.
But I'm betting that Mark and Steven imagine like. I'm betting that Khonshu is very careful about like making sure that he's not apparent to them.
Only pulls them out in the most dire situations.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that as soon as Khonshu like appears before Mark is like, "The fuck are you doing here?" And Khonshu's like, "Oh, just chilling, just hanging out.
I just came to see if you wanted to be Moon Knight again, but I could see
just
that you
Khonshuing
don't."
around.
I could see that you don't want to.
You don't want me.
Oh God, Jake, get out here! It's so lonely being a god. And then Khonshu ran off with Tawret, and they got happily married. And then she divorced him and married me.
Damn. It's all of Moon Knight is really just an elaborate dating scheme for Fee.
It really is. And let's say Tawret is so cute. Like, she's not like in a sexy way, like the way she like interacts with Mark and them. Like, she's so fucking funny and cute.
Yeah,
like she's sweet.
She's very sweet. She's a lovely character.
She's an Egyptian goddess that has an English accent.
Yeah, which is like very colonialism. Very good. Good for her.
Yeah, nice.
But if I'm not mistaken, the person that plays her is Egyptian, I believe.
That makes sense. I've heard a lot of Egyptian people with English accents. So,
well, I also heard that, like, if I'm not mistaken, a bunch of like, because the director is Egyptian, I feel like he got mainly Egyptian people to play the Egyptian gods and stuff in this because he was like, yeah, well, that's fucking stupid if we don't do that.
Yeah. And then what's it called? Oscar Isaac is not going to do Moon Knight again, he said. So I don't know if this is going to tie into the MCU or if this is a one-off.
Well, what Oscar Isaac said is there's no plans for me to continue playing this character, but I would love to play it. And they just like, the script has to be there and like the idea has to be good.
Well, I mean, okay. So then, yeah, he could definitely be in the MCU, but he would be the only reason I'd see another like Avengers movie, because everyone in the MCU right now is just trash, other than Loki and Moon Knight.
Loki's very good.
Yeah,
and I'm very excited about like a second season of that whenever that comes out. So far, I've seen WandaVision, Loki, and Moon Knight. And I really liked all of them. And I just like, holy shit, I couldn't care about like Captain America and fucking Falcon Man.
Yeah, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I couldn't either. But I saw a synopsis on it and I wasn't too thrilled about it. Although there is a good meme that came from it where Falcon's in like the plane and he's like, he's out of order, but he's right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's out of order, but he's right. Yeah.
Which is the best.
Yeah, the TV series from Marvel has been like pretty good, I would say.
I didn't care for WandaVision, but
I loved WandaVision. I thought WandaVision was great.
I didn't care. I saw 3 episodes and I was like, I'm done with this. I don't care much for the characters to begin with. I didn't see I didn't see Hawkeye show because, man, Hawkeye's the worst. Hawkeye's the worst hero, and Jeremy Renner is the worst human.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner is why I didn't watch Hawkeye, because like I heard that it was actually really good and really funny, and it was based off of like the really good run of Hawkeye, with there's
Kate
a
Barlow.
Oh, God, yes, yeah, and so I heard it was like based off of some good stuff. I heard that the show was really good, but fuck, I hate Jeremy Renner and fuck, I hate Hawkeye. Like, I just leave.
We don't
get him out of here.
There are superhumans. Why do we need a bow and arrow guy? Like, why?
Well,
why
have you gotta have your guy.
Why
have your bow guy?
Why is every like Marvel and DC both have just these two human guys who shoot bow and arrows? Why? Like, what's so cool about bow and arrow guys?
Because they can use different kinds of arrows, and they're all sick.
Hawkeye, the most interesting arrow he's used is the computer hacking arrow.
Jesus Christ. The one thing that an arrow guy has done that I really fucking liked was in Batman Returns? No, Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
Not the movie, but the comic. In which, like, old man Bruce Wayne is fighting, like, young, spry Superman.
Yeah.
And, like, in the comics, Superman has fucking ripped off Green Arrow's arms because he's like, you can't have these anymore because you won't be a registered superhero and stop being a vigilante, so I'm just going to rip your arms off. I could have killed you, but I didn't because I'm nice. And so this fight is like going on between Batman and Superman, and then fucking Green Arrow is hanging off of like a ladder by one leg, and he's using his other leg and his teeth to fucking fire a kryptonite arrow at this stupid motherfucker Superman, who then gets his absolute shit pushed in by Batman. It's awesome.
Yeah, he catches the arrow.
It's the one time an arrow guy did it. It was hell yeah. All about that.
He catches the arrow, and the arrow explodes kryptonite dust into his lungs. Let's just say that's the only good thing that Frank Miller's done. Because
I would agree.
He's an absolute just piece of shit. Because The Dark Knight Returns is just a phenomenal comic. And Frank Miller's also did good Daredevil stories, but All-Star Batman is probably the worst comic series ever.
Man, the thing is, there's so many great scenes that come out of it.
Oh yeah, but you're talking about like great meme scenes. But
yeah.
But boy, is it not good.
Yeah, the whole thing. I mean, the idea of having like Batman be this fucking like this just asshole.
This unhinged
just
maniac.
An unhinged maniac. That's a great idea for a comic, but like he plays it off in such a way that being an unhinged maniac that's like objectively doing some really shitty things is very cool in his comic, and that's like not the point of a story like that, IMO. But that's where you get things like I'm the goddamn Batman, or like within the first few pages fucking Batman jumps up and crashes through a cop car window and fucking kicks a cop in the face and says, "Eat glass, lawman." It's very cool.
There's a scene where he tells Robin, I'm the goddamn Batman. Also 300.
He also did 300 and Sin City.
Yeah.
And man, Sin City the movie is like one of my favorite movies. It's so good.
But not the sequel. But Sin City the movie is so good, but the sequel blows.
Sin City the one where there is no sequel. There's none sequels.
There's no 300 sequel either. It's also dumb. It's stupid. Is what I tell you.
It's big dumb.
It's big stoop. Just stoop kids afraid to leave his stoop, and his name is Frank Miller.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, but after he wrote those like masterpieces, he started writing garbage because he's a garbage human being. Mm-hmm. But he's still a good like artist. So
yeah, I mean, great artist, but fuck, man, like. Why did it have to be you? You know, like
writing.
That's
like
one of those things where you're like, God,
writing these memorable pieces, writing just this god tier like comics. Everyone loves you, and then you're just like, well, now I'm gonna be a big shithead and write racist comics and just dog shit. Like because he wrote, he wanted to make it a Batman comic, but it was DC was like, oh no, you're making Batman be a racist.
We can't have that.
It was that comic where this guy fights like the Taliban terrorists in like New York, and then he has sex with the girl who's supposed to be Catwoman, and he goes on like a terrorist rant. What the fuck is it called? It kind of looks like 300, and it was in a big book like that too.
Fuck. I've got nothing.
God damn it. It's gonna bother me so.
Oh man, I'm looking at a picture of Frank Miller and he looks like a shit. Oh god. Yeah, he looks terrible. He just looks like a bad man.
He's just a bad man. Oh, Holy Terror. Holy Terror.
Oh. Fun fact, excuse me, there was a book about something similar, which if I'm not mistaken, is actually called Trigger Warning book. Yeah, okay. It is. So I didn't read this book. It was I watched a video from Jenny Nicholson about it because I that's how I consume media. Yeah. And yeah, the whole thing was like this young, strapping conservative man goes to a liberal arts college, and then terrorists want to take over the college, and then he's the only one that's man enough to fight back.
Is it this comic where like it's this French maid in front of a guy?
No, sorry. I'm just talking about like a regular book.
Oh.
I'm just the two are related in my brain because because like they're both rooted in like they both, I think, probably spawned out of the idea of like, oh man, 9/11 wouldn't have happened if I was on the fucking plane. And that's like where these pieces of media come from, is you're like, I would have been a big fucking badass and I would have taken down everybody and fucking
if I was there,
stop me from killing all the foreigners on the plane. Like it's things like that. Like it's very like racist, but I'm also very cool, like self-wanking jerk off shit that like that like binds those two things together in my brain. Because like as soon as you told me about it, I looked at it and was like, oh, that's like Trigger Warning. Got it.
Oh my god. Okay, so there's this other comic that I really want to read because it's silly, but it's called My Hero Magadamia.
Oh no. Oh no.
And it's drawn like My Hero Academia, and Donald Trump is drawn like All Might.
Oh God.
Look it up. It looks I hear it's silly. It's like funny and silly. But I really want to read it because God, if I don't like joke comics like that. Like,
God, I can't even fucking believe that. Like,
oh my God. Okay, Wall Might, first term, part 2.
God, no, no,
I can't. It's so fucking funny. It looks so silly. So you want to the USA, do ya? You only have to do 3 things with you. And what's it say? Oh my God. I will vanquish you. And in the name of the Constitution. It's so silly. Oh my God, it's funny. I want to read it. I don't want to...
Especially the context of like rights of Americans just being actively taken away as we speak, and the fact that most of this got kicked off around 2016 is just fucking infuriating. No. And people want to draw him with big muscles like a big sexy man. It's disgusting.
I don't want to read it for like the reasons that I don't know if you're thinking about. Like I'm like, oh, I love Donald. No, it's a silly...
I'm gonna jerk off to this man.
It's a silly little joke comic, and I just kind of I want to see how silly it is, and I want to laugh because I love laughing. But like those kinds of comics,
the most generic thing you can put on your dating profile. I love laughing. I enjoy a good meal.
I enjoy a hearty chuckle, and you know,
it's my favorite noise.
I like to chortle before bed. Fucking. Oh shit! No, those are good things. But yeah, Moon Knight was good. Go watch Moon Knight and Dark Knight Returns.
Go read that. It's very, very good.
It's so good. Watch the movies too. Part 1 and Part 2. They're good. Free on HBO Max if you got HBO Max.
Ooh. Nice.
Before we go, I want to talk about one more thing, and that was Dave Chappelle getting tackled during a stand-up routine not too long ago.
Yeah, so the context behind this, because there's not much.
Yeah.
Basically, Dave Chappelle was doing a stand-up show, and then this guy crawled up on stage and had a fake gun with him that concealed a real knife inside of it, which is the fucking craziest thing I'd ever heard.
Yeah, he had a gun knife. He had a gun blade. Final Fantasy VIII Dream.
He had a real gun blade, yeah.
And
he gets up on stage and he tries to tackle Dave Chappelle. And the thing is that, like, if you're thinking about Dave Chappelle, the image that you have in your head probably hasn't been updated since, like, Chappelle's show. Motherfucker is built now. He's like a pretty thick dude at this point, so he doesn't go down very easily. And then
he's not
less than like 7 people jump on this man,
including Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie Foxx. God, what is it with you in dollar store everything today?
Hey, Jamie Kennedy's an actor.
Yeah, barely. He was in Son of the Mask. We don't count him as a human.
Yeah, but he was in Malibu's Most Wanted, and I love that movie.
Man. I can't even.
I can't
even believe you're putting them right there.
Hey, Malibu's Most Wanted is a good movie. I don't care what anybody says. Anyway, it was Jamie Foxx, and it
was Jamie Foxx and Busta Rhymes.
You busted that guy. If you see the video of them hauling that guy away. His arm is just dislocated beyond belief. It's just... Have you seen the video?
It's the craziest fucking thing, because, like, I don't know, and like, okay, imagine that you're sitting on a chair, and you're reaching behind your chair to, like, grab something out of your backpack. Now, take that arm... like the way that your arm is right now, and flip it 180 degrees. That's what this man's arm looked like. The elbow is like jutting away from his
body, like
whole body.
Like imagine like your outstretched arm on the arm of the chair. Now imagine your elbow inverted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how this man's arm was. The cops didn't get there until the whole crew beat the shit out of him in the back.
He had the shit beat out of him. And I'm now reading that also fucking Jon Stewart also beat the shit out of him. I think it's very funny.
God. Like, as soon as it happened, and it just made Dave Chappelle look better. I'm not saying it bad, because I love Dave Chappelle. Like, I love his stand-up. Even the Netflix stand-ups, those weren't, like, his best. But, boy, is Dave Chappelle funny.
The way that Dave Chappelle does comedy now is like he basically gets on stage and talks for like 2 hours, and then that's stand up, which like before he's like got a rehearsal and whatever. So like
he was very animated.
His stuff isn't going to be as like I say like well rehearsed and clean as like his older stuff, but his new stuff it's got a different vibe to it, and I like it. The main issue, my main issue with Dave Chappelle is that like he said some transphobic shit in the past like year or so that he's like he just doesn't have any context for, but he thinks he's taking like a good stance by like saying the transphobic shit that he is, but he's not.
The thing is, I don't think he hates trans people. I don't think he does that. I just think that he doesn't care what he says. If that makes any sense. Like, if it sounds good and it's a joke, he will make that joke. Mm-hmm. And people's feelings be damned. But if you know Dave Chappelle, that's how he's always been. But the climate of the world from back when he was doing like his big stand-ups to now has changed drastically. So his jokes have changed with it. And not a lot of people like that. And what he said is bad, but also I think he's just saying stuff to be funny. I don't think he's saying it to be hateful. Because he's not going around like being like, oh, fuck yeah, fuck all them people. I think he's just trying to make like bad jokes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the thing is it's a lot of comedy nowadays, and this is like this. You have to contextualize things in like how things sound today, because if Dave Chappelle makes that joke. So the joke in particular, like there were a number of them, but one of them was like, the sentiment of which was, I don't think trans women can be women in the same way that I don't think that Beyond Beef can ever be a real hamburger. That's effectively the joke, right?
Yeah, it's still that's still funny to
me. Which is like, yeah, that's like that's a well constructed joke. It's also punching down at a
community.
At a community that is like disadvantaged in a lot of ways, and like that's it's like if you took and we all used to do this back in the day, like it's if you take the kid that like smells bad and is weird and no one really likes, and you start making fun of that kid, everyone's like, haha, yeah, fuck that kid.
Yeah, like Travis.
But you're hurting him by doing that, right? Like, yeah, it's a shit thing to do. And so nowadays people are like, people want more out of their comedians, I guess. And they want you to like think about the things that you're saying, specifically because like punching down at a group is like not cool.
Yeah.
And it's, especially people that are on the internet, the communities that have formed on the internet are, a lot of us have like some form of like mental stuff, be it like autism or ADHD or depression, anxiety. Like the internet is a place that like that is populated, not exclusively, but I would say in a lot of like the places where people like you and I hang out.
Yeah.
The majority of them are like people that are neurodivergent in that way, and people that are neurodivergent also just like have a higher likelihood of being trans. And so like we over the years have like grown up, and like we've got a lot of like trans people in our lives. Like we know a lot of them, and whenever you hear someone like just, especially as like big and well respected as Dave Chappelle, say something like that, which is a well constructed and pretty funny joke, but is also objectively very shitty to your friends.
Yeah.
Like in that moment, you basically have to make a choice. It's like you can find it funny, but like you also have to be like,
well, you have to understand,
is this something that's like objectionable?
Yeah, you have to understand that like the people around you who are trans or are someone that they're making a joke about, they're not going to take it like as you are going to take it, or they don't find it funny because and it's not all, because like some trans people can make light of their situation and can understand, but also just some people aren't like that. It hits them in a way that they've gone through all this, whether it be like trying to get their family and friends to understand that they're transitioning, and they want to feel the gender that they are transitioning to, They want to feel like the person they want to be, and making light of that situation kind of brings them down. But
yeah,
Dave Chappelle, he's been, like I said, he's been doing it for years. He's did it to every community. He makes fun of every community, and it's getting to be not okay in today's climate to do that, which is fine. But you could still do that, but you have to be wary that if you do that, some people are going to be upset at you. But it just depends on how serious the joke is.
Yeah, and it has to the main thing here is if you're punching up, if you're making fun of rich people or racists or fucking conservative dickheads that are in the government, all that's fine, because they're the people that are in power, and taking them down a peg is something that makes everybody feel good. But to take a disadvantaged community and one that frankly, jokes like that, I'm positive trans people have not only heard once, but have heard a lot, and it's at the point where it's fuck, shut up.
I don't want to hear this from my favorite comedian.
Yeah, please fucking stop.
And I think I think I will say that Dave Chappelle is my favorite comedian. The current biases be damned. I can listen to him and he'll make me laugh. I don't know any other comedians nowadays that do. Fucking Gabriel Iglesias will make me laugh, but not as much as Dave Chappelle. Or even George Lopez, but George Lopez is kind of getting old now and a little.
He is. And George Lopez also only really has 5 jokes.
Yeah,
and those 5 jokes, he's done a very good job of remixing them over his 30-year career. But man, they are the same. Him and who is a really good example of remixing your jokes poorly and it not going well is fucking Carlos Mencia.
Yeah.
Carlos Mencia busted onto the scene. A lot of people fucking loved him and are oh, I love Mind of Mencia. I love Carlos Mencia. And then you hear him, you engage in his content for more than 3 months and you're wow, I have enough Carlos Mencia inside of me for the rest of my life. I'm good. Thank you.
God, it's so funny, speaking of Carlos Mencia again, because he reprised his voice as Felix in the Proud Family. In the new Proud Family show. So yeah, and I haven't heard Carlos Mencia do anything since goddamn 2005. But it was so funny to hear him again. But it's just there's not a lot of modern day well-known comedians. John Mulaney, I love John Mulaney. I wish he'd do another stand-up special. John Mulaney and Dave Chappelle are my favorite comedians, and I can't say that about any newer comics right now, because I've heard some stand-up. Maybe it's just me, but I've heard some stand-up and it's just not clicking with me. I'm just it's kind of that's kind of funny, but it's not really funny, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those things that I feel happens whenever you get older, is because I haven't seen a stand-up special. The last one that I saw was Ali Wong. I watched an Ali Wong stand-up special years ago.
Yeah.
Haven't watched one since. Haven't seen any of John Mulaney's stuff, despite the fact that I know that I would really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Haven't seen any of Dave Chappelle's new stuff. And because whenever I was younger, when I was a kid in high school and coming up to college, I had Comedy Central on constantly.
You had a Jim Gaffigan CD that you would play on repeat in your truck, and a Patton Oswalt
I did.
CD.
And a Patton Oswalt one, yeah. The thing is, I don't know where my Patton Oswalt one went, and I'm very sad about it. I made the horrible mistake of digitizing my Jim Gaffigan CD and putting it inside of my YouTube Music, And now when I say shuffle all of my songs, sometimes a Jim Gaffigan bit gets in there and I go, fuck, I just want to listen to music. I literally never want to listen to Jim Gaffigan. It's just, I made this horrible mistake.
Yeah. Well, you burned yourself out on it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to, I'm looking at stand-ups on Netflix right now. And, you know, I see Dave Chappelle everywhere. But then, like, I see, like, a lot of people I don't know. But that's not, like, Kevin Hart or Gabriel Iglesias. I see, like, Franco Escamilla. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
And that's the thing. They may be great.
Maybe.
But it's like, am I, like...
Oh, God.
It's so fucked up that, like, the barrier of entry to watching a stand-up special, even if it's, like, 30 minutes long... Like, or anything, any movie, any piece of media, if I have to click one additional button, it's too much. So, like, if I have to boot up my PlayStation, open up Netflix, and then surf and click X on something and make a commitment, it's already too much. I can't fucking do it. Whereas when I was a kid... Comedy Central would just be on, and then stand-up specials would happen to me, and I was like, "This is great, big fan."
Yeah,
like,
they'd have
like all I had to do was turn it on Comedy Central, and that was it.
So they had the stand-up like Comedy Central, and then they had I don't know if you remember the show, but it was Shorties watching Shorties, and it was just animated comedy skits drawn into little animations. And I
and it was that. By like there were a bunch of like Jim Norton and Patrice O'Neill and Bill Burr, that basically crew of people would be in there, right?
Yeah,
and that's like
it was really good, but
it was really good. Yeah,
I'm looking at you mentioned Ali Wong, and I remember seeing some of her stand up, and I just don't care for her. I'm sure a lot of people think she's funny, but I just think she's bland. So.
Oh, I really liked the one special that I saw, but I will say that like there's a bunch of other of comedians where like they're large and they fell out of favor, like because the one that I'm thinking of is Amy Schumer, right?
Oh,
like
God.
Amy Schumer was huge, and then everybody was like, actually, Amy Schumer is the most cringe human on the fucking face of the earth. Yes. Never bring her near me again.
I never liked Amy Schumer. I saw one of her stand-ups, and I was like, why do people love this woman? She's terrible.
I really liked the first, like, 2 seasons of her show, I want to say.
Oh, God.
And I saw her stand up live, and then I think when I saw her stand up live, I was like, oh... Like, I'm enjoying this, but it's...
Not for the reason she wants me to.
Yeah, this is fine.
You know,
this is good.
You know who else is an awful, awful comedian? Jeff Dunham. Oh, man.
Yeah, Jeff Dunham is one of those, like... Listen, there's a lot of people in the Blue Collar Comedy Tour that I really like. Specifically Ron White. Like, Ron White is a great comedian. I really enjoy him.
I think we enjoy him because we can relate to him a lot.
Yeah, and he's got a really great way of talking.
Yeah,
that I enjoy listening to.
His voice is like comforting and funny. Like it's not aggressive. It's just
he just sounds like my dad. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
I don't know. I might be a redneck.
But fucking. Jeff Dunham is like in that same spectrum of like, oh no, this is like, you know, this is, you know,
all of his puppets.
Conservatives have like latched onto this man who has like, oh yeah, I've got this like dead terrorist puppet. I have fucking cool.
I have a racist stereotype puppet for everybody. Which is funny because like when I was younger, I liked Jeff Dunham. But after watching one of his stand-ups, they're all the same. They're like, aha, this jalapeno's a Mexican. He has a sombrero. This terrorist is dead, and he blew himself up. His name is Ahmed, the most stereotypical name for anything you would give to a terrorist. Then you have Bubba, Bubba the redneck, like, trailer park trash. And then you have the really racist black guy manager who would, like, just have the... he didn't bring him out a lot, but I hated him. And then like Ahmed had a son, and then he had little Jeff Dunham, and then he had Peanut, who I never thought was funny. Like,
me either.
I don't know why people are just like, fuck yeah, Peanut, and I'm like, he sucks. I'm like, his jokes aren't even good. I'm like, Jeff, just stop. You're bad. I can see your lips moving. Just,
I mean, he's a pretty good ventriloquist, but like, God, man, he's like, he all of these things are, they build on themselves to be like, wow, actually, this fucking sucks, and this man sucks.
Yeah.
Like, at the time, yeah, I also used to like Jeff Dunham, and then like the fucking dead terrorist thing, and he just like, his jokes never got any better.
Yeah.
Like, the one thing is, whenever like a new comedian comes onto the scene, they have like an interesting point of view and like a perspective that you haven't seen before, and you're like, oh yeah, I want to hear more from this.
Yeah.
But then if they just continue to present the same point of view over and over and over again, you're like, I don't really need any more of this, actually. You can keep the rest of whatever it is you want to do.
All Jeff Dunham did was whenever he would bring out a puppet that wasn't Peanut, it would just be like stereotype jokes or like something that was happening like in the current climate with whatever race of like puppet that was out. And then Peanut would come out and just be terrible. I can't even say like anything besides like, what would he talk? He would repeat Jeff Dunham's name, but in a weird way, and then he would put his hand over his head and go Vroom, and that's it. Like, he would say Jeffafa Dunham, and he would repeat that joke for like 5 minutes. And the old man too, which I guess,
yeah,
I do enjoy the old man one because it's the stereotype of all just old men hating their wives.
Yeah, which like, man, God, I'm really glad that people are like starting to move on from that joke. People are starting to be like, why don't you just marry somebody you like and shut the fuck up?
Why are you still with them? Why are you just terrorizing them?
Yeah, it's just like, I'm old and I hate my fucking wife. My wife sucks ass.
God, I woke up this morning and my wife made me a glorious breakfast and she wished me I had a good day. And I hope she dies. I hope she gets in a train wreck. I hate her so much.
I left the house today and I turned the oven on. I just am hoping the whole house burns down.
God, it's such a silly joke. Like, that joke should have died like in the 70s because like it's not funny anymore. It's played out is what it is. So that's all I'm saying. But like, I like the Walter character because like he looks like the type of person that I could see like talking like that. The puppet, I mean. But that's about it. And that's what that character's supposed to be. But all the other characters are just like lame. But Jeff Dunham's still touring, so maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, for people like us, we don't hear about Jeff Dunham anymore. You're like, unless you get like a Facebook ad that's like, Jeff Dunham's coming to your city, or like one of your old high school friends. My brother shared like, oh, Jeff Dunham's coming to my town, very excited.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, of course you are.
I'm gonna get the tickets and I'm gonna buy me a puppet.
No, it's gonna be $70 and I'm gonna hear him talk about butts and farts.
Yeah, I'm gonna hear him talk about America with that little Taliban puppet. It's gonna be so like, I know your brother doesn't talk like that.
He's gonna say, I kill you, and I'm gonna laugh.
He's gonna say, silence, I kill you. Oh, buddy, I can't wait. He's gonna be like...
Yeah, he's gonna be... Like, that's the level, though.
He's gonna be like when people would joke about people waiting for, like, Larry the Cable Guy to fucking say, get her done. Oh, I can't.
Whereas... like flip that, right?
Yeah.
Imagine my brother is like sitting in his house on like a Thursday night. He just got done, I don't know, yelling racial expletives at someone on Call of Duty. I have no idea what he does. My brother's maybe not racist. I have no idea. But then he looks on Facebook and he sees that I have posted, oh man, very excited. I just got tickets to go see Game Grumps. And he goes, what the fuck is a Game Grumps?
Who the hell are these Game Grumps? Well, what is this? My brother's going to watch some girly show about games.
And then he looks it up and he's like, wait, so you mean to tell me you're going to go and sit in a theater and watch a couple guys play video games on a stage?
How dare you?
I am so embarrassed for you.
In my America? How dare you?
This ain't my America. Speaking of which, guess who's in town right now?
Is it Game Grumps? Is it,
No, it's... Go ahead.
I would say, is it Eagle, Raptor, and like the art crew?
No, I wish. I wish it was either of those. It's actually the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump, is in town right now.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jeff Dunham.
Oh, fuck it. That would be great. I would much prefer him over that band. There were just billboards all over the place that were like, Austin loves Trump. And I was like, God, please
I think
stop.
I think of all the cities in Texas, Austin is not one of them that likes Trump.
Yeah. I would say so.
I think it's the least Trump loving city in Texas. And that's hilarious to me.
Every time I see a billboard that's like about that or about God, there's so many that are like, did you know, like it's a picture of a cute baby and it's like, did you know I had eyes at 3 days? And it's like, wow, that's not true. Amazing. Every time that I see a fucking stupid ass billboard like that, I'm like, man, I wish that in my car I had like a flaming crossbow that I could just shoot at these like billboards and just burn these billboards up. That would be sick.
Every time I go to work,
can't do it.
There's this house that has this big black flag on their fence that just says "fuck Biden." Every day I drive by it, I'm just like, okay, I get it.
Cool.
I'm like, I get it. You don't like him, but I'm like, yeah, I don't think he's the greatest, but I mean, what does it matter? He doesn't affect my day to day.
At the very least, that person has the balls to actually just say it instead of having a fucking "Let's Go Brandon" flag like a little pussy.
God. I don't even know.
God, I cannot fucking stand that. It's just ugh.
I don't know what that is. First of all, let's go Brandon.
You don't know what it is?
Let's go Brandon. I've been hearing people saying that like that's a right-wing dog whistle or whatnot, but I don't even know what the context of that is.
So, if I'm not mistaken, there was like, I think a NASCAR race or something in which a bunch of the people in the crowd near the announcer booth were just chanting "fuck Joe Biden." And one of the announcers was trying to play it off like a joke. And he, for like one of the other announcers, he was like, "Oh, you hear that? They're saying, 'Let's go, Brandon.'" For our, like the other announcer was like, "Oh, you must be doing great, Brandon." And that's where that came from. So now they're like, that's gonna be our little secret clubhouse code word.
That's
dumb.
That's fucking funny. God damn it.
God, it's so embarrassing. That and like whenever, especially the amount of like middle-aged mom posts on Facebook where I've seen where they end off with FJB and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm like, again, you're just like, I don't want to come across as negative, but
yeah, fuck JB. Now that we're on the topic of political, before we go, because we're a little bit over time, but you know Turning Red, right?
Oh yeah.
You know it took place in like 2002. That's the time period of the movie that took place.
Wow. Okay.
So there's this YouTube cartoon critic called Mr. Enter, and for all intents and purposes of it, no one knows who he is. he's a bad reviewer, and he's just got like he started out as like a My Little Pony reviewer, and he was like really big in the Brony fan base, and then he just started reviewing cartoons, and like he has a diehard fan base, but everyone's like, you're really bad. And he also got like writers from a SpongeBob episode doxed, and like he's just a bad reviewer.
Oof.
And in this context, cool. In 2002, he reviewed Turning Red. And one of his gripes with the movie was, why aren't they talking about 9/11? Because it should be fresh in their minds. Why isn't anyone talking about 9/11? So now if anyone posts anything about Turning Red online, I saw it on Twitter today, they post a picture of May as a panda going, where are the jets? Oh my god, they hit the Pentagon.
My god.
So like everyone's dogging on him, but also making that into the meme, and someone's like, I really hate that now we're gonna remember Turning Red as this meme about 9/11.
God, I can't fucking believe that. Like, oh god, I was in high school when 9/11 happened, and guess what? Like, after a week, we didn't talk about it. We were like, wow, that sucks.
I don't think
Anyway, I didn't like have discussions with my friends like, oh, hey, what do you think the geopolitical impact of this is going to be?
Yeah, what do you think's going to happen now? I think I said this on the podcast before, but I thought when the World Trade Center got hit by the planes, I thought they were talking about the Frostbank buildings in Corpus. Because that's the only two towers that I knew about. That I didn't know about the World Trade Centers until they were hit. Honestly.
Yeah, because the news was like, oh yeah, planes have hit the Trade Center, like the World Trade Center, and I was like, the Trade Center in Corpus got hit by 2 planes? Why? Someone was just like real mad about the elote. They were like, "Now we're gonna get 2 fucking planes."
That's it. You wanna just get me all cucumber in my fruit cup? This is what's happening now. God damn it! They talked about it at school, but I didn't really no offense to like any 9/11 victim, but at that time I really didn't care. I was too busy, like, I was too in deep with, like, my PS1 and Pokemon.
Yeah, whenever you're young, like, it's hard to have context for things that don't immediately affect you and how they are bad. So, like, I remember I had it would be classified as, like, a civics class, a social studies, right? And in social studies, we were told, this was in the year 2000, to pick who we thought was going to win the presidential election, right? It was George W. Bush or Al Gore. And I was like, I feel like Al Gore is going to win because he is the vice president, and that makes sense to me. But I really didn't care. I was like, it would be cool to have a president that's also the governor of Texas. That would be awesome. Right? And so I didn't research the issues. Like, they told us to research the issues. I went to like one of the Democratic centers in Corpus. Like, there was like a place where they're like campaigning for Al Gore. And like this fucking guy, bless him, took time out of his day to like tell me about the things that Al Gore believed in and why they were good. And I don't remember any of it because I was very sleepy. And we went up there like early on a Saturday, and I didn't care in the first place. And like, I'm fucking however old. This was junior high, so I was like 11, right? And couldn't give a shit. 11, 12, couldn't give a shit. And
like
then
14, 13.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And so I get like we get back to class, right, and submit my thing, and then the election happens, and then it's like all the stuff about hanging chads, and like it all comes down to Florida. Who's going to decide like who is like the president? And like 2 weeks into it, I remember my parents were like, so like, do you still want like Al Gore to win? Are you still like, do you think Al Gore is going to win? Because my parents are great. They like asked my opinion about things whenever I was that young and I didn't have fucking context for anything. They just like wanted me to think about anything in the planet. And I responded to them and was like, honestly, at this point, I don't care. I feel like Al Gore should just give up and stop being a little baby about it, because he's starting to try to sue people in order to like get things recounted. And like, they already recounted once. We should just stop. And my parents were like, really? And I was like, yeah. I don't care. I wanted to be over. I'm bored by this. And they were like, oh. Man, okay. They were like really surprised by how little of a shit I gave about this, because this was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And like now, obviously, if you were to be like, oh yeah, something is happening, where like, let's say that like that happened again, because it did, right? Yeah. It happened in the 2020 election. So like, let's say that like the counting is happening again. I'm like, oh no, I care very deeply about the actual true results of it, and I'm very invested in knowing what they are, right? Yeah. Like right now, the whole thing with like Roe v. Wade, like I am reading as many things as I can about like what is happening, what is coming up, what things can I do about it. I'm also researching moving to a different state and a different country, right? Because like these are things that are important to me. But if you took my 11-year-old self and brought him here and be like, hey, this thing may be overturned, I'd be like, wow, that sounds like it's bad. And then if you asked me again in 3 weeks, I'd be like, they should just do it already. Shit.
Damn.
I'm bored.
I could be watching cartoons. I've got Dragon Ball to catch up on. God, my dad did try to get me to care about politics too, but he didn't ask me to like what my opinions were. He just forced me to watch the debates, and I was just so uninterested that he would just get mad and tell me to leave. Mm-hmm. He'll just be, you're not even paying attention. Get out of here. I'm just like, all right.
You're like, yeah, correct. I'm not. Cool. Bye.
I really wasn't like it. I was a child. I couldn't do anything about it. I could be like, oh man, I really care, but what could I do? Honestly, I couldn't vote until I was 18.
Yeah. Like it took until like I was out of college and like had enough bad things that happened around me that I was like, oh, I should care about politics because like I care, right? Yeah. And it just like it took that long to get there because it's a hard subject to want to care about. It's just so fucking. The thing is, if you have a hardline stance of like this is good and this is bad, like you probably haven't done enough research into it, right? Yeah. Like,
well, to be fair,
and that's the most frustrating thing is like the more you research, the more gray area everything has, and the more everything also sucks dick. So
yeah, and to be fair. I'm still not interested in politics. Like, I'm just really not. I'm more worried about like my day-to-day life and my job and like gas and like paying bills. I don't have time to pay attention to what's going on in like the political climate. It just happens and I hear about it and I'm just like, boy, that sucks. But it's too late now. I don't care. I can't do anything.
Yeah, I can't relate to that at this point. Like I cast my vote, and even if I know that I'm going to be like massively outvoted, I still do it just in case, yeah, you know, like,
you drove all the way to fucking Corpus just to get me to vote with the promise of food.
Yeah, I was like, listen, Fee, I care about you, and I need you to vote, okay? I need you to vote here.
And it just so like I wasn't going to vote mostly because like I was working a lot, and then the one day off, Kobe's like, I will come down and I'll drive you to wherever you need to go. And when he got here, I was like, boy, I'm very sick today. And he's like, we're still going. And we still had a hamburger.
Yeah, hell yeah, we did.
And then I came home and took medicine and went to bed. I was not feeling well that day, but I voted, and it counted because Monsieur Bidan got elected.
That's right. And it was all thanks to Fee.
It was all if it wasn't me, he wouldn't have got elected, but my vote counted. It was great. I loved it.
Hell yeah. It got in there.
So that's all the time we have now. We're a little bit past, but that's okay. We're going over socio-political topics, which I think is very important, and y'all should all know about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we talked about Moon Knight and some movies coming out, some comedians and stuff. So what I want you to do is I want you to find us on any podcatcher, Spotify, iTunes, anything, iHeartRadio, anything you want to listen to us on. We're all there. We're on everything.
We're on all of them.
Give us a big old thumbs up and 5 stars. Big 5.
Huge. Big 5, baby.
Huge. Like and subscribe because we're on YouTube as well. And comment. Where were you at during 9/11? What were you doing when the second plane hit the South Tower or the other tower? What are the towers?
Just this whole is this also Dollar Store 9/11 now? Jesus Christ!
Is it the North and the South Tower, right?
Fucking, I wouldn't know, Fee. I would have just avoided it altogether.
Where were you when the second plane hit?
There you go.
leave that comment. And I guess get all your Marvel heroes together, take them to a voting booth, and go get them.
Go get them.
Go. If it was me, there would never be an election. I
would just be God King of everywhere.
I run a dictatorship, but a happy one.
Yeah, it'd be just like Star Wars, where everybody was happy all the time.
Darth Vader, more like good guy Vader.
The Empire really was just helping people out.
Yeah,
when you think about it,
there are houses for everyone. The Jedi were the bad guys. That was the underlying story.
Yeah, did you notice that all the stormtroopers wear white? It's because they're good guys.
Did you know that lightsabers can't melt steel beams? God damn it, bye.